Hey guys, so I'm going to show you how to start painting a picture. Here's an example of a section that I have started painting. What you're going to do is find a photograph that you have taken in the last year or two, preferably from the class, but it doesn't have to be. If you took a really awesome photo from a previous travel experience or something like that, you are welcome to do so. Things to think about: people are challenging, animals are okay, because you have a lot of texture involved. But trees, clouds, those kind of wispy looking things can be pretty challenging. So think wisely before you get started, because you might find yourself a little overwhelmed. But it's a lot simpler than it looks. So I'm going to show you how to start this out from the very beginning. First, you're going to go is create a new file. So it does not really matter what direction it goes into, but you should label this as Photoshop painting. And a 10 by 8 or an 8 by 10 is up to you. 150 resolution is plenty. And then you're going to hit create. Once you do that, you have a couple settings that you need to set up. Number one is you need to go to your paintbrush and set up all of these settings that you need. So you're going to go and hold down on the paintbrush and go to the mixer brush tool. Once you do that, this toolbar shall pop up, okay, with all of the editing. If it's not there, you can also go to Window, Workspace, Essentials, and it should be able to show you all of those things here. You could also do Reset Essentials if all your stuff is out of whack, okay? Once you do that, you have to start making these settings correctly as my screen shows. What this is this is loading the brush. So just think about like painting. When you're painting, you have to dip your brush into the paint. Same concept. The next one is to clean it. When you want to change colors, you want to clean your brush. So this is just a digital way of loading your brush with the color from underneath and cleaning it every time you do a new brush stroke. So every brush stroke that I do, it will clean off the brush. On these, it'll start off with custom. I like to do, my preference is very wet, heavy mix. I want my paint to get really mixed in with my image, okay? So this is what I use. I'm just gonna scroll all the way through here. Make sure your flow is 100%. That's just how smooth the brush will be, as well as sample all layers. If you don't do that, it's not gonna work. You're just gonna end up getting black right on top of your picture plane. The next thing you need to do is to grab your image and just drag it over onto your screen. Go ahead and scale it however you want. Make sure there's no white edges. And then the next thing you're going to do is go to your layers. So I need to go ahead and delete this white background layer. I do not need it. And I have my image at about 80 to 90 opacity level. The reason being is because if it's at 100%, I can't see where I've already painted, and it becomes really difficult to see what you need to do. So I'm going to lock this layer by going to the lock panel right here, and then I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to label this painting. Do not paint on your original photo. You will hate life if you mess up, because then you're erasing the image and it'll erase the paint and all that stuff with it. So make sure you are painting on a completely new layer. And then I'm going to zoom in here so you guys can see it better. I'm going to use my paintbrush. Now, the larger your brush, the less detailed you can get. So I like to use a smaller brush. I like to have a smooth blend so that I can look at all of the pictures, colors mixing together. So like all these tiny little strokes that I'm doing right to left, like you don't want to just paint up and down. That doesn't make sense. You want to paint in the direction of your object, okay? Don't forget Command Z is to go backwards. I like to kind of paint in the same value, and then I'll just kind of like fill in the gaps. It'll mix with itself. So like the more you go over those highlights, right, it'll blend in eventually if you go over it too much. So you don't want it to get muddy, but you don't want it to have any of these empty gaps either. So as you can see, I can now see where I've been painting, where I'm going along the lines. I'm going in the same brush stroke. The longer lines, right, the more it'll blend. So you can keep going, or you can do small little ones if you want. It's just up to you on how you want it to overall look. When I'm hide my image, I can see what I've been painting so far. So I have a bunch of empty gaps. So I might want to like go through on another layer. I could do an underlayer here and it's going to sample all those colors, but it's not going to mess up that detail. So like now I have all of this stuff kind of underneath, and now it's all painted. Then I can go to my top layer and fix my details. Okay, so you're pretty much going to do this the whole time. I'm going to go around to different spots. I would zoom out so you can see what it looks like at periodically. Don't just stay zoomed in the whole time. Play with the different brushes. There are different brush options up here that you could try with your brush panel. It's completely up to you. Have fun with it. It shouldn't be stressful. It should be relaxing. And ask me if you need to use a drawing tablet. Okay? All right, that's it. Have fun.